do people not understand how ignorant that is? I mean, if you want to attack an idea, okay, if you want to argue an idea and argue a point, okay, we'll argue it. Argue your side of this thing, and let's talk about it, okay? But this idea that I'm wrong simply because people don't think like that here, or you're in this group, right? Yeah, it's just, I mean, because I don't subscribe to the groupthink. Alrighty, welcome in. It is your favorite political podcast. It is Alabama Politics This Week with Josh Moon and
David Person.
How are you,
God's favorite Democrat. There it is, right there on the sweatshirt.
God's favorite Democrat was Jesus, but I mean that's just me. Yeah.
Was Jesus a Democrat?
Oh, he definitely was a Democrat. He was so progressive.
You think so?
That, oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Although I did see a sign. Yeah. Well, either that, he was either a Democrat or a doctor. One of the two. He was definitely either a Democrat or a doctor,
depending on who you talk to. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Or
well, he was healing people. He was in the healing business, so yeah. I guess.
Yeah, doctor. Definitely doctor-ish. I would say. Yeah.
Definitely a doctor.
Yeah. I saw something the other day that said if Trump is Jesus, when is the crucifixion? So it's yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, I know it's rough right there. But yeah, hey, listen, got to see David over the weekend.
That's
nice
right.
Little soiree. It was
you hit
you
hit the big number, man. You hit the big number.
Not yet. I have not yet. I got time.
Oh, it's not. You didn't just.
No. I get next Tuesday.
Oh, so this was an early celebration. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right. So you're about to hit the big number.
About to hit the big number. Yeah.
Okay. So you're still a young viral, still a young man with a lot of vim and vigor. And
that's right. I haven't gone downhill yet. Not until next Tuesday do I go downhill. Not until next Tuesday do I go downhill. So then it's all downhill.
You'll really know it. See, you're laughing about it, you're smiling, but you're really going to know when you notice that incrementally you begin to spend more and more time with doctors. That's how.
Listen, I know already, man. I've already done and gone and done the over 45 little procedure.
Okay.
And had that handled, and and already had the whole I'm gonna probably die health anxiety onset, that is that besets you somewhere around your mid 40s as well. So I had that. I've already experienced that. So yeah, it's listen, it is a whole new world. I think I heard an interview the other day, or not even an interview. It was just LeBron James was out with some guys and they were recording it, playing golf, and he was talking about the guys asked him, do you feel 41? Do you ever feel it? And he said, oh, every morning. I tell the guys at night, I go to bed available, I wake up doubtful. And that's, it's.
That's pretty funny. I like that.
Yeah, right.
Like that.
It was so funny. But that's right. You wake up, so you just wake up some mornings and you're like, what the hell? What happened?
Yeah.
I didn't, I was fine when I went to bed. What did I do? Yeah.
I was just laying down. Why am I hurting? I was just laying down.
Let me tell you the other thing that's got me, man. The other thing that has got me over 40. Oh my God! Welcome to old people talk, kids. So this is what you got to look forward to. But so I exercise all the time, right? I one of the big things after going through the health anxiety was like, you got to take care of yourself, make sure everything's straight, and so all that. So I do it all the time. I run pretty much every day. I do the weights and all this kind of stuff. The thing that I have figured out, and this is, and I've talked to other over 40 people. All right. And this is insane. If you keep doing the weights and things every day, you're fine. Everything's fine. But if you stop and take like a multiple day break, like we've gone on vacation before, or I've had some extra work and stuff, and so I've had to miss a couple of days. The delayed onset muscle cramps that hit you, if you don't do this every day, are insane. I thought I was dying. I thought I was sick. I thought I was like cramping up from like getting the flu or something. They're like, no, man, you just, that's what happened. Took a couple of days off. Can't do that. Oh, it's just, God, it sucks so much to get old.
Well, let me say, I had the pleasure at your birthday party, I had the pleasure of meeting your dad.
Mm-hmm.
And your dad looks like he is in great shape.
Oh, he
So
is.
whatever he introduced himself to me as Papa Moon. Whatever Papa Moon is doing, you need to follow that example because that
Well,
that that guy's in great shape.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Do you know how old that man is?
I don't. How old
That
is he?
man is 77 years old.
He looks great. He
Yeah.
looks great. And I'm
He
not
does
just
not,
saying that. He really does. He really
he
does.
does
He
not,
looks
he does
great.
not take a pill.
Wow.
He does not take, he never has any problems. This was
Wow.
a man, I swear to God, man, this is a true story. We were at the beach. So we go and spend an extended period of time at the beach with my family and down in the month, and we work from down there. And so we're down and we go eat, and my dad gets sick a day later. And she, thinking it's regular food poison, maybe COVID kind of situation. I mean, but it hangs on for a little while, hangs on. So finally the man, I mean, he's just like almost like passing out one day in a chair. And so we take him to the emergency room, get the blood drawn, get the whole blood work done. They send him home. Everything's, started to recover. Everything's feeling better. No medicine or anything, because they didn't know what to give him because the blood work had not come back. They called him 2 days later. They called him and said, "Hey, you had E. coli, but apparently your body's healed it."
Wow.
My man healed E. coli without any medication whatsoever. Just his body just took care of it. It's like, yeah, we got that for you, my man. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't make them like that anymore, man.
No, they don't. They really don't.
Like
they really don't make them like that anymore. So, but yeah, that's what I'm striving towards. Is that goal right there, to just be that healthy and active and moving around and getting things done when I'm that age. And they a few years ago, he and my mom adopted a young girl whose mother had just passed. There was a family friend, and they took her in. So they're currently in their mid-70s raising a 10-year-old. And so so doing all the stuff.
Well, that's what it is. See, those are good people, good righteous people. I'm not talking about religion. I'm just talking about good people.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's
that's righteous.
listen,
I love that.
Yeah, I think you'll find there are a lot of folks out there who have taken in kids from from addiction homes and things like that, and that's essentially what happened here. And and so we are happy to have her. As a matter of fact, she's going with us. We're recording this on Tuesday, by the way, because we're going down to the beach for a short little stay this week for my birthday. And she's Andy's little cousin, we call her, and so she's going to go down with us and hang out and have some good times too. So
I love it. I love it.
It's all a good time. All a good time. But
speaking of Andy, it was great to meet Andy and Steph and Bill and Susan Britt. Just had just had a nice time hanging out at the Josh birthday bash or pre-birthday bash. That was nice.
It was fun, man. We had we should have hung around for the trivia.
Yeah.
Our team won the trivia in the team trivia contest. They did skew it a little. For example, one slate of questions was 90s Auburn sports trivia, so I had a bit of an advantage.
Right up your alley. Yeah,
right. Yeah. So but it was a great time. My wife put that together, and man, it could not have been more perfect. It was laid back. It was, I didn't have to stand around talking to a bunch of people I don't know and don't like. It was that this was true. Okay. I did not want to do that. I had people that I liked. That's what I told her. I only want people that I like there. I don't want people that I don't like. I want to have a good time. I want it to be laid back. I want to, do some trivia or play some games or something like that.
Yeah.
Also let the kids come and hang around and play outside and do all that. And so it was absolutely perfect. And you were there.
Yeah.
My friend Anthony Daniels stopped by for a while.
Nice.
And listen, it was great. It really was great. So
awesome.
I really appreciate her doing that. And hey, speaking of other great people who we like hanging around, we need to tell you about our friends over at Wind Creek Entertainment. They sponsor us, help keep this thing running and going, and we really do appreciate everything that they do for us and for the rest of the state, because they operate 3 great resorts here in this state. When the Wind Creek folks do, along with a bevy of other businesses and hospitality endeavors. But the 3 resorts are what we talk about, and they are in Atmore, Wetumpka, and Montgomery. The 2 main ones being in Wetumpka and Atmore. And if you get an opportunity, I'm telling you, I preach it every week about going to the beach and breaking up the trip. It's you're not going to do better. Look them up online, book a stay, book a spa visit, get yourself a reservation at Fire, go and have the meal at Fire. It's just a different level of service. That's the best that I can say. It's a different level of service. And honestly, when you walk in, it kind of catches you off guard because you're not used to that level of professionalism and courtesy and just service. It just is. You got to experience it. Go and look them up, book a stay. I'm telling you, you're not going to regret it.
Absolutely right.
You know what you should do, David?
What's that?
You should move to California, where people think like you think. You know how often I get told that?
Apparently quite a bit. Quite a bit.
I mean, I'm talking multiple times a week. Somebody says, move to California where you're liberal ass. You can find people who think like you do. That's
So these are people that are trolling you online, huh?
Oh yeah. It's comments on Facebook. It's emails. I get a lot of emails from people who've read whatever it is I've written, and and because I don't subscribe to their level of groupthink and have dared to suggest that maybe there's a better way to do some things in this state, because we're ranked last in almost every damn thing. Maybe there's a better way to go about it. I get told I need to go and visit California. So I wrote about that this week, and I kind of compared, there's this, and I got, honestly, I watched a couple of clips of Gavin Newsom talking about this. And that's kind of where I got the idea, along with getting yet another email of somebody telling me I need to move my liberal ass somewhere where they think like I do. And so I first of all, before I get into the California thing, do people not understand how ignorant that is? I mean, if you want to attack an idea, okay, if you want to argue an idea and argue a point, okay, we'll argue it. Argue your side of this thing, and let's talk about it, okay? But this idea that I'm wrong simply because people don't think like that here, or you're in this group, right? Yeah, it's just, I mean, because I don't subscribe to the groupthink. That, and I don't go along with the crowd, because everybody thinks this way or whatever, that I'm wrong. I'm just, that has never been something that swayed me in the least. It's kind of like that idea of when somebody says, oh, you think you're always right, and they often say that after you've given, they would say it on the sports radio show that I used to host. Oh, you think you're always right. And I used to say, if I didn't think I was right, I wouldn't say it. I mean,
exactly.
Of course I think I'm right.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of expressing an opinion. Yeah. You think you're putting it out there because you think it's correct.
Yeah. I mean, you may think you're right. And okay. I mean, we both know you're wrong, but you may think you're right. All right. And so, and that's why I tell David all the time, listen, I appreciate your point of view. You're wrong, but you're right. And we can agree on that.
You rarely tell me that. You rarely tell me that, just for the record.
We don't disagree on very much. But it just, that sort of mindset has always just been like, that's so ignorant to me to think that way, that simply because the group says, this is the way it should be. I think that has done probably more harm to the state of Alabama than anything else, where people have knowingly done the wrong thing because the group thought that was what was right.
And that's what I wanted to dig into, because when I read your column, it really made me think about things that I've heard through the years. Now, you have lived here all of your life. I've lived here most of my life. So I admit that there's a deficit in my understanding of what it is to be an Alabamian. But if I'm understanding your point,
Mm-hmm.
You're saying that really getting to the root of why we are perennially at the bottom of the lowest, socioeconomic indicators, and
Mm-hmm.
the reason that we have perennial struggles in this state when it comes to quality of life and the well-being of our people, you're saying it's because people are stubbornly and maybe even fearfully just clinging to an idea that some group had, and going again to your column, really, that goes back 100 years, in terms of the kind of mindset and the thinking, the thought process, and they're clinging to that because that's become the culture, and they're afraid to deviate from the culture.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
I do think that, and I think it permeates even beyond Alabama. I think that is a big problem with social media. It encourages that sort of mob mentality, that sort of groupthink type thing, where you find people who are of like minds. Y'all all agree, and if somebody doesn't, they're the idiot. Okay, they're the moron, and then you just get immersed in this bubble. I mean, it surrounds you, and everything you do. Like for right now, there are people who legitimately believe right now that the Republicans are just going to dominate in the upcoming elections. Where everybody outside of that bubble looks around and says, what the hell are you talking about? I mean, look at these polling numbers and look at what's happened in some of these recent elections. There's no way that's going to be the case. But what that leads to then is an easier belief of voter fraud. They cheated. They cheated. There's no way they could have won. I mean, we knew we were gonna wipe the floor with them, so they cheated. And I think that's kind of the same thing that's happened in this state for so long. Is we started off and listen, the wealthy here have done a fantastic job of permeating this. Okay, they've done this for basically the entire history of this state, and you could see it most in that 1901 Constitution that set up our tax system and our education funding system, and it had certain goals, and they were not shy about what those goals were going to be. I mean, you can go back and look at it. It was white supremacy was the goal.
Yeah,
and they spell it out for you in there. I mean, I'm not inferring anything here. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And so and then that has just continued.
But here's a question for you though, Josh, because I guarantee you, I agree with your premise, and in fact I think it's uniquely insightful, and I really mean that. I think this whole idea of how groupthink has really shaped policy and culture here more than we realize. But what I want to ask you is this. So I guarantee you, I could walk into the most conservative, right-wing evangelical church or civic organization, and I guarantee you that probably at least 70 to 85% of the people there would absolutely deny vehemently that their policy views, their political positions have anything to do with white supremacy. They would flat out categorically, in fact, they'd probably want to fight me for even suggesting such a thing. But yet what you're saying is, no matter what they may think or how they may view it, that's exactly what it's connected to. So my question to you is, why do you think it is that these folks, because I agree with you, why don't they see it?
Well, because the folks, listen, they've done a masterful job of turning these into other things, into fear-based issues. You see that a lot of what's happening right now. What's happening? Let's take, we've talked about Montgomery a lot on this podcast with Mayor Stephen Reed and some other folks. And okay, what's happening in Montgomery right now couldn't possibly be because of the years of discrimination and the years of unequal educations that have taken place in that city that have produced young men who are angry, who are violent at times, and who have never been taught proper conflict resolution and some other things, and are searching for love, and acceptance, and that's why they turn to gangs a lot of times. And so that couldn't possibly be it, though. because it's got to be that you just elected a black mayor, and the black mayor is not doing anything about crime because it's black people committing the crime, and he doesn't care about the white people anymore and the cops, and he's anti-cop because he's a black mayor, and that is kind of you look online, look at the people who believe that, and when I dared to say to them, "What are you talking about?" The mayor has given out these raises to cops. He's implemented a recruiting procedure here that has an incentive and home buying options and education reimbursement and all of these different things to lure more cops in, and has gone out and allowed basically the rank and file to handpick the person that was going to lead them over there, the guy that Gray Boys that they wanted, that they loved. That was going to be their guy. So, you introduce that and say, but, and then you had this entire history. What about the history? Well, you're just a liberal. You're just a liberal over here doing, and that's the sort of thing that I'm talking about. And that you see it from the very start of this, where they have convinced people, because it's not just that, okay? It's also things that work directly against them, like the California thing that I was talking about. They are convinced, these people, you hear them talk about California as though it's this hell on earth hellscape out there, where you're overtaxed and it's just a bunch of liberals out there with drag queens and whatnot. It's nuts.
They've obviously never been.
No, well, and you don't know how math works, apparently, because if you looked at the numbers, you would realize pretty quickly that for less money than what you're getting charged in taxes right now for most working people in this state, you get a better tax rate in California, and you get more services, you get a better quality of life, you get a better education system, you get a prison system that isn't compared to whatever third world prison system you want to look at. I mean, all of these different things that are working better, measurably better than how they're working here. So, yeah, maybe I should move to California. Maybe all of us should, I mean, but the groupthink has us believing that that's not, it's terrible out there. It's terrible.
So okay. So let's just hit it. Let's just get down to brass tacks here.
Sure.
Are we talking then about delusion, denial, ignorance, or just flat out stupidity?
I think that I should not be forced to choose just one. Listen, I think that it is, I think it's easy to go along with the crowd. I think it's hard to step. Listen, I have lost so many friends over the years. Okay. I have.
I mean, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just, and it's not, listen, it's never a major, oh, you're such a liberal asshole, I'm done with you forever sort of thing. I mean, there've been a couple of those. But for the most part, it's just people that all of a sudden you find out, you're no longer friends on your social media page or whatever. You're not following, and that, you don't hear from them and that sort of thing. And listen, that's fine. That's fine. I've never cut somebody off for being, right-wing MAGA. Matter of fact, one of my good high school friends was there at the party this weekend, and it was, we've been friends for 35 years now, and he has some of the craziest damned ideas you would ever hear in your life. And we have...
Oh, I think you introduced me to him, didn't you?
Yeah, it was Marlon. Yeah, I did. And his ideas are so insane. I mean, it's just off the wall bonkers. But it's, we do talk about it, and we find common ground in other places and things. But I think a lot of what, he believes is because he is surrounded by people who also believe those things. And because I don't think a lot of people are as plugged into this as we are. As a matter of fact, most people are not as plugged into this as we are. And so the information comes to them in drips and drabs from different avenues, and most of it are the people in their lives. And so this part, if your two friends believe X, Y, and Z, well, then you're more likely to believe X, Y, and Z as well. There's so little attempt now to go out and see if that's actually true.
Mm-hmm.
And it's matter of fact, it's one of the things I told him the other day when we were having lunch is, because he would spout some nonsense, and I would ask him questions about why he would believe that, and then I would ask him a follow-up question. And as we went through this lunch that we were having, and I said, have you noticed that every time I ask you a second question, your whole shit falls apart and you can't answer anything? And he said, yeah, I'm gonna stop talking to you. And so, I mean, it was, so, yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? And so it's just one of those things where, a lot of people don't question it, and then it seeps in, and it just becomes a fact for them. It becomes a fact for them that California is terrible. It's a terrible place. You should go to California where all the liberals live, where it's not true, because there's a whole bunch of conservatives who live in California. But at the same time, there is, it's just, I think it's a level of I do think there's some ignorance in it, but I also think it's just relying on human nature to go along with the crowd. And we are worse for it here. And listen, I'm not saying California is some utopia. I'm not saying that at all. There's certainly a lot of problems out there and things that need to be fixed, and things that Alabama does better than California. But this idea that, you're punishing somebody by doing this was ridiculous. So, all right, we need to slide out because I don't know how many guests we're gonna let y'all hear from today, but I know how many we got. But so we got to get to it.
Got a few.
Yeah, we got a few. All right, we'll be back in a minute. It's Alabama Politics This Week, brought to you by our friends at Wind Creek Entertainment. Back in a moment.